Hey everyone, it's Arcanus Gaming. Thank you for tuning into another video. With the patch notes coming out and the changes, again with this recent patch, figured I'd go over the build that I had pre-patch and where I plan to go afterwards. Now that they pretty much nerfed crit damage, passives a lot, and things like that, which what our build was based around. So we'll see what we're going to be going from there. But before I do get started, and please let me know if I'm losing my mind, but I know Flight of Gaavanir, with the changes to the crit, makes sense now. This is fixed. This is not a nerf. Instead of us getting 30% crit from block chance, since we don't have any block chance, we're now only getting 1%. That makes sense. I'm fine with that. The thing that I'm tripping out about is Tectonic. Did they nerf Tectonic? I could have sworn that this gave us a damage buff instead of it nerfing the damage. Because I have Stones Casting Shadows and Tectonic, and 200% weapon damage, less weapon damage because of this. I don't think I'd run something like that, honestly. Even with the 100% crit, I would have thought that I would at least do something different. Maybe something like that. But I wouldn't want my damage to be increased by 200%. Maybe something like this, and then something else. But I don't know if I'm losing my mind. I thought this increased the damage by Flight of Gaavanir. Now it nerfs it. So if that's the case, I mean, again, I could be wrong. This could have been the whole time. I just haven't been paying attention. But if it's the case that they nerfed it, I mean, that kind of sucks. Not only did they nerf Bleeding Edge, but they nerfed Flight of Gaavanir. Those are two abilities that two-handers kind of want to rely on for their damage. And I'm sure people can still finish endgame and things like that. But for me, I was still having problems with 150 with my current build. I mean, I'm not like the strongest ever. I don't have the best gear. But with this change, it's going to be even harder. So I'm definitely going to have to try to move around passives and things like that. But again, let me know if I'm just completely losing my mind. If I am, then it is what it is. We're going to have to change it again anyway. So with the abilities, besides Flight of Gaavanir, we have Wings of Ishmir, of course, with Berserker's Onslaught, Grinning Radiance, Stunning Apparatus, Gratitude Turn Spite, Relentless Pursuit, and Meritorious Crew. For Sovereign Shout, we're rocking Hold the Line, Dawnbreaker, which apparently works now. Before there was a bug and sometimes it wouldn't afflict the enemies with weakness, so now that's a thing. Infectious Determination, 2 Rise Again, Hostile Inspiration, a Princeps Lead, and then Raging Berserker. For Juggernaut, we have Grudges Collected, Crushing Wall, Standing Rock, and it shows the damage absorption now, which I don't think was before. Again, I might be losing my mind. Flies in the Bevies, Heralded Pavis, Cold Steel, Banners Held High, and Vibrations Internalized. And then for Flight of Gaavanir, what we were rocking before was Thunderous Impact, Mountainous Impact, Stones Casting Shadows, Standing Boulder, Narrowed Throat, and Tectonic. For Tracker's Reach, Warden's Chain, Preserving Momentum, Retracting Chain, Zealous Smite, Rapid Propellation, Wrangler of Rogues, Unrelenting Hunt, and then, of course, Bladestorm. We had Lethal Momentum, Ceaseless Current, Unfettered Determination, Wheel of Pain, Shredding Whirlwind, Shiganite Density. I don't know if I said that first word right. And then Spoils of War. So basically, the idea of the build, of course, was to whirlwind enemies down, or if I wanted to burst them, actually, it would go like this. So if there was a big pack, I jump in, shield, shout, throw my hammer, hit anything in this area, call back, and do an explosion on the way back. And the cool thing about having so many projectiles with the hammer, when you call it back with Mountainous Impact, it does 3 explosions. So it does 1 explosion per hammer. So you can tell how good this would be once you pull them in, throw the hammer, and call it back. Now with the apparent damage nerf, or with Tectonic, and just our damage being nerfed in general, I might change something here. Maybe I'll go into ailments or ailment damage. Ailment damage and maybe rage. So I might do something like this. So get this out quick, call it back, and explode. And with our build in general, with the passives, the only thing we really changed is we took points off of academic fieldwork and put it into clandestine execution. I feel like we're getting more mileage with this than the academic fieldwork, because I don't have the fastest build. Sometimes I move a little bit slower than I'd want to, and this would fall off by the time we get to the end boss, and we weren't able to keep up the stacks. Whereas this is going to always be there as long as there's one enemy around, and this can even help when you're fighting champions. When you kill all the little mobs and you're just 1v1ing a champion, this will come in and help as well. So that's one of the minor changes. The other change we did is we put points into Archeon's teaching, which gives us another projectile, and we reduced the cost of our projectile damage by another 50%. But before, it used to be worth it. With the 100% crit on Flight of Gaavanir and the crit hit damage, even though we were losing all this like damage, we'd still gain it back from not only having a lot of crit hit damage, but the Child of Fury passive as well, which we still have, and gaining damage when we're over 750 rage. But other than that, we put points into Warlock for more rage, and we did keep a branded burst still, so we can get a little bit tankier. We don't get one-shotted for the most part. And then moving to the soldier tree, we have the wild card, we have the heat of battle, second wind. Then going to the warmonger tree, we have gods amongst men, feast for crows, and then the siege breaker, we have salvatory anchor and disallowing vessel. Then moving to the passive that hurts us the biggest, merciless lethality, which got nerfed from 100% crit hit damage to 60% crit hit damage. And then the last big node we have is virtual stance, which was fixed, so I'm not too mad about that. We will be receiving the minus 25% all resistance, with the chance of us doing that extra damage, so doing double damage, but at the cost of some resistance. So moving forward with crit hit damage being nerfed, and it seemed like Flight of Gaavanir was nerfed as well. I'm not sure. Again, I could be losing my mind, but I think I still want to play this build because I love bladestorm too much. It just sucks that this is affecting us. But I feel like I'm going to start moving into more ailments. So probably drop Warmonger or Gods Amongst Men, so I can do more than just material damage, and maybe start putting points into maybe fire or frost damage, because I know bladestorm can do frost damage. And maybe put some points into Immortal Offering in the Kabbalist tree and Grievous Afflictions. I'm not too versed in affliction builds, so maybe you guys can help me out with maybe some things that I could put points into to start growing an affliction build, or ailment build, excuse me. So I might drop the crit hit damage. I might drop the extra projectile maybe for some points into Kabbalist. Other than that, everything else I feel like I still like. I just probably would lose this, and start dealing into the ailments, or maybe and changing some modifiers here and there. Again, we do have something that this can do frost damage. Maybe we can do like a cool freeze build with bladestorm, or maybe fire damage, because I know there's a lot of fire damage that two-handers can do. I know Anvil's World is lightning, so we do have many different ways to go into. We'll probably drop the material damage or the physical damage and start going into either elemental or an occultist type damage. But I still like the two-handed gameplay. I love seeing the higher crits with the two-handed weapon. It just sucks that they nerfed some of that. So maybe we'll see how we go moving forward. If a two-hander isn't effective anymore, probably go dual wield, probably go sword and board. But for now, I'll still be testing out the abilities that we have for now, and updating you of course. But I just wanted to let you know the direction I'm going, and please let me know. I don't know why I'm thinking about this too much. Please let me know if this was actually nerfed. I feel like this gave us a buff before. But anyway, that's where I'm at now. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you guys think about the patch again, the changes, and what build you're rocking. Are you gonna try the summoner build? I was thinking about it, but I'm not really a summoner build type of guy. But we'll see. But again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.